Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into something profoundly important for those of you operating businesses right here in Meghalaya. We're going to uncover how you, as business owners, aren't just out there making a living. You are actually the vital engines of your community's entire prosperity. This is what we call the Maker's Mandate. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting four main areas: why business drives society, the danger of weak business, empowering the local community, and finally, the Maker's Mandate. We're taking this all the way from the deep philosophy of work straight down to highly practical steps for your daily operations. All right, let's jump right into part one: why business drives society, or as I like to think of it, the engine of civilization. Economist David Bahnsen brings up a really fascinating point here. He argues that work isn't merely instrumental. It's not just this transactional burden we drag ourselves through just to pay the bills. The book of Proverbs even notes that the city rejoices when the righteous prosper. And Bahnsen argues this is because it is our original design to be producers. We are uniquely built to take the raw potential of creation and grow it, to literally co-create value in the world around us. So, your entrepreneurial drive? It's actually a deeply ingrained mandate to serve your community. Now, think about what wealth actually means. Classic economist Henry Hazlitt completely shifts our focus away from money as the ultimate end goal. He says true wealth is what is actually produced and consumed. It's the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the factories we build. Money is just the medium of exchange to get there. So true wealth in Meghalaya isn't just about stacking up currency, it's about building tangible physical value. The processing plants, the infrastructure, the agricultural yield that genuinely elevates everyone's standard of living. So how do we actually go about creating that wealth? Well, Milton Friedman nails this concept perfectly when he compares voluntary exchange versus coercion. Think about it. When you engage in a voluntary exchange, say buying raw ginger from a local farmer to process in your facility, both you and that farmer walk away better off. Your interests are harmonized. Coercion, on the other hand, relies on forced mandates that just violate individual freedom and wreck that natural harmony. Business, at its absolute core, is just a system of massive, peaceful cooperation. Moving right along to Section 2, the danger of weak business in this battle between the maker and the taker. This brings us to a really crucial idea from Hazlitt: the seen versus the unseen. Now, when a government hands out subsidies, something Frederick Bastiat famously called legal plunder, the benefits are highly visible, right? That's the seen. It looks like genuine help on the surface. But the unseen is the reality that capital and resources are being silently siphoned away from productive uses. It quietly drains the very entrepreneurs who would otherwise be out there creating sustainable jobs and real wealth. And F.A. Hayek adds a huge warning here about central planning. He points out that it essentially destroys the creative impulse. Why? Because a top-down system simply cannot process the millions of scattered, localized details needed to run an economy. A central planner in a faraway office cannot possibly know what a local entrepreneur in Northeast India knows about their specific supply chain, their farmers, or their customers. We absolutely need local minds solving local problems. Look at the contrast between these two mindsets. It's literally night and day. The maker focuses entirely on consumer needs and uses actual market prices to drive decisions, which results in real wealth creation. The taker, though, focuses on lobbying for favors and heavily relying on government subsidies. Thomas Sowell emphasizes that lacking a maker mindset leads directly to the stagnation and withering of human capital. Without productive businesses, that vital economic knowledge is just lost, and the whole community becomes chronically dependent. Okay, let's bring these high-level theories down to earth in Section 3, empowering the local community. Let's see what happens when you apply Hayek's concept of localized knowledge to everyday industries here, like turmeric and ginger processing, or our local hospitality sector. You completely shift the economic reality of your region. You go from basic subsistence farming to discovering local price signals, to engaging in value-added processing, and finally to exporting that commercial wealth outward. You are essentially taking local farmers and turning them from subsistence workers into highly productive commercial partners. And the reward for doing this right? It's what Charles Kolk calls good profit. He defines it not as some greedy short-term pursuit, but as earnings derived from creating superior value for your customers while actually consuming fewer resources, and doing it all lawfully and with total integrity. Generating good profit is the ultimate signal that you are building what economists like William Easterly and Thomas Sowell refer to as a radius of trust. It proves you're a reliable, productive partner in your community. When you strictly stick to that framework of mutually beneficial market-based management over the long haul, the compounding results are just staggering. Doing the right thing economically isn't just about good ethics. It is literally the ultimate driver of sustained generational wealth. The value you create for both your business and society compounds massively over time when you practice principled entrepreneurship. But how do you actually get your internal team on board with this? You implement what Koch calls decision rights. When you give employees decision rights, they stop acting like mere renters and they start thinking like true owners. You maximize their individual contribution and their pride in the work. Practically speaking, this means a worker on your factory floor understands exactly how their daily efficiency, like optimizing the processing yield of a ginger harvest, directly impacts the payouts going to the local farmers. They see their critical role in the whole ecosystem. Which brings us to our fourth and final section, the maker's mandate. This is the specific challenge for your daily operations. Eliyahu Goldratt's theory of constraints forces us to ask a really vital, almost uncomfortable question. What is the single biggest constraint currently choking your business's throughput? You see, to unlock our community's productivity, we can't just run around trying to improve everything all at once. We have to identify the exact bottlenecks holding us back. So, here is how we attack that bottleneck scientifically. First, pinpoint that primary constraint. Second, ensure you have spare capacity on your non-bottleneck resources so they don't accidentally starve the main constraint. And third, release material into your system based on your actual capacity, not just incoming demand. By systematically unclogging these operational bottlenecks, you drastically increase the flow of wealth and throughput for everyone involved in your business ecosystem. To make all this happen, we need a major mindset shift. Drawing from Thomas Sowell, we have to move from history to economics. We need to stop agonizing over historical sunk costs, past failures, or what resources used to cost back in the day. Instead, focus your knowledge entirely on what those resources are actually worth today. Apply the principles of a free market to your immediate business challenges and watch new potential unlock. Because here's the reality, Meghalaya needs 10 strong companies in every single sector to effectively export value and bring real wealth back home. You aren't just running a small operation. You are the engine of civilization for your community. It is time to stop being a reporter of the past and fully embrace your monumental responsibility to become a creator of the future. I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to chew on today. Will you remain dependent on those seen subsidies of the past? Or will you accept the maker's mandate to create the good profit that builds your community's future? Will you step up to co-create real wealth? Or will you let the incredible potential of your region just wither away? The choice is entirely yours.